Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for WWE Monday Night Raw for June 17th, 2019. Been a while since I've done a review on the main roster, since I boycotted it for like a month, and then I watched Raw like 2 weeks ago, but then didn't do the review because I just didn't have the time, and it was a bad show, so I didn't really see the point. And then I was away this week, so I didn't watch Raw live, but I actually wasn't gonna watch Raw. Actually, I was just gonna watch the YouTube clips and then just watch Super Showdown this Sunday. But then I went to watch the YouTube clips and it actually looked like an interesting show. I don't, I saw like what was on the clips and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a watch because this actually looks good. Um, and I was pleasantly surprised that Raw was a good show. So I'm giving away like what my letter grade's gonna be, but yeah, I was fairly surprised of how Raw turned out. Raw hasn't been good since I think I don't even remember when. I know they had a good one this year, but I don't exactly know when they had a good show. It's been a while. Because when you consistently have bad shows, um, it's hard to remember the good ones. But this one I thought was good. Um, However, one flaw is it really didn't do a lot to build to Stomping Grounds, which is this Sunday. I thought that was kind of a flaw about this show. It really only promoted one match. It didn't really build to the Stomping Grounds overall. But other than that, really not a lot to complain about. I'll have some things, but let's get right into the video. Another complaint: way too many WWE.com exclusives I had to watch. A lot of the stuff that they put on the exclusive, they could have just tacked on Raw. When Samoa Joe came out and did his promo, he easily could have just done that on the show itself instead of just doing it on YouTube. Doesn't make any sense to do it that way too, considering the fact that you know, um, you can't even see this stuff until after because like Samoa Joe before the Fatal 5-Way match like did a promo, and you couldn't even see it until after the Fatal 5-Way match had already happened, so it didn't really make any sense. So kind of weird. But other than that, let's get right into the review. um, Starting with the first WWE.com exclusives, it was just kind of um, so I forget his name off the top of my head, but someone promoting Raw about all the big things that are going to happen. How the new Daniel Bryan was coming over because of the wild card rule, and he's going to face Seth Rollins. They advertised the Fatal 5-Way elimination match, where the winner would face Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds for the U.S. title. They advertised other things, but those were the main things. So there you go. Then we had the actual show itself. We had Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Renee Young on commentary for this show. Um, Show opened up with an Elias promo, and Elias trashes Los Angeles. He hasn't done a concert in a while. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is fairly fresh too because I haven't been watching WWE main roster really consistently. So I'm just guessing here. Because he's on bet on SmackDown, he can't really do like his typical concert segments because those episodes of SmackDown are shorter. So I think this is the first time in a while since that he's done like a full tried to do a full concert, and he trashes LA, um, which was a common theme throughout the show because LA has the big basketball team and they had like just lost, um, and aren't going to whatever the playoffs. So it was a common theme throughout the show. It's nice to mention it once. You didn't need to mention it several times throughout the show. I think it's just cheap heat. Um, and Elias says that he's going to be the special guest referee in the Seth Rollins Baron Corbin match at Stomping Grounds. And he says that like Baron Corbin said that he knows true talent and there's something in him for him in the deal. But then out of nowhere, Seth Rollins comes out with a steel chair and bashes Elias right across the back, and he brutalizes Elias with the steel chair. And Seth Rollins gives a warning to anyone that Baron Corbin picks to be the special guest referee that could be their fate. And then he walks off and leaves. I actually liked this segment. It was something different. I know technically it was the typical open and promo segment, but this one just was very nice and simple. It didn't last that long. And I thought it made Seth Rollins look like a badass, and I thought they did a very good job of that throughout the show. So I like this. And then we had the Fatal 5-Way match, where the winner was going to face Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds for the U.S. title was an elimination match. The Miz versus Bobby Lashley versus Cesaro versus Ricochet versus Braun Strowman. Before the match, each guy comes out and just beats the crap out of Elias. Miz hits a skull crushing finale on him. Bobby Lashley hits a spear on him. And Cesaro hits the swing on him. Ricochet hits the lung blow on him. And Braun Strowman hits a running power slam on him. And then, later on in the show, in another WWE.com exclusive, Elias tried to come out and perform a song again, but he was just so injured that he couldn't do it. So he said that you can blame all these people that beat me up, and thank you, and I love none of you, which I thought was awesome. But before the match, on a WWE.com exclusive, Samoa Joe came out and said that whoever wins this match, all they're doing is just open up an opportunity for them to get choked out by Joe. So, I thought that was nice. I thought it was a good promo by Joe. He had to do it very quickly, though, because obviously I think they were just coming back from commercial, but whatever. I thought it was good. Kind of sucks, though, that's all really Joe got to do on the show, but whatever. We had the match. I thought the match was good. I enjoyed the Fatal 5-Way match. Braun Strowman just immediately takes out both Cesaro and Lashley with a drop kick. At the same time, he hits a wicked Beal right onto Ricochet. He grabs Strowman and Cesaro and Lashley by the throats and, tosses them out of the ring. And he hits a wicked Beal on Miz. Lashley and Cesaro try to come in. Cesaro hits a wicked torture rack slam onto Strowman. He goes for the neutralizer, but Strowman counters it. And Cesaro went for the springboard uppercut, but Strowman caught him into a running power slam. But before he could make the cover, Lashley got involved. He hit a suplex onto Strowman, and he ended up taking out guys throughout the match. And this distraction cost Lashley, and Strowman hit a running power slam on Lashley onto Cesaro, and Strowman pinned Cesaro and eliminated him. Which sucked for Cesaro. He didn't even get to really do much in this match, and I thought he really could have added to the match. I really wish we could have gotten a triple threat scenario with Cesaro, Ricochet, and The Miz included, but we didn't get that. But then he hits the running power slam on Lashley and eliminates him. And Braun Strowman hits the running shoulder tackles on the outside on both Miz and Cesaro twice. And then eventually Lashley and Cesaro come back into the ring, and Lashley spears Strowman. Cesaro hits the neutralizer on him, and then Ricochet hits the 630 on him. And Ricochet, I thought, was a nice babyface thing to do. He didn't really want to do it, and he wasn't really associated with these guys, but he really didn't have a choice because he had to get Strowman out of this match. So, Ricochet pins him with the help of Lashley and Cesaro. So I thought it was a nice way to protect Braun Strowman. I actually thought Braun Strowman was going to win this match, and they were going to finally do Joe versus Strowman. But I don't think you need to do that match right now. I think you should really build up Joe and have him just destroy people and really build that as like a nice monster match at SummerSlam. Hopefully that's the direction they go in, but, it's obviously main roster. They're not consistent, so you really can't assume that. Afterwards, Strowman's pissed, and he throws Ricochet onto the outside, onto, Lashley and Cesaro. He throws Lashley into the barricade. He tackles Cesaro into the screen, and then that was that. It made Cesaro look stupid, though, because he just stood there while, Strowman went after him. He didn't run away from him or anything, but that was whatever. So then the match is just down to a one-on-one match. It's Ricochet versus The Miz, and Ricochet hits a wicked backflip dive on the outside. He goes for the 630, but Miz moves out of the way, and Ricochet hits a roll-up. Miz kicks out. He hits a crossbody. Miz kicks out, and eventually Miz hits the DDT. Doesn't get the win, though. He hits the it kicks, and he goes for the kick to the head, but Ricochet counters into a roll-up. Doesn't get the win. Miz starts to work over the leg of Ricochet. He gets him in the figure 4 leg lock, but Ricochet gets the ropes. Don't know why there's rope breaks in a match that has no disqualifications, but whatever. And then eventually Miz goes to go off the top rope. Ricochet hits a lung blow in midair. Then the 630 for the win. And Ricochet is going to go on to face Samoa Joe this Sunday for the U.S. title. I'm actually happy with this. I think Ricochet and Samoa Joe, if given the time, can really go out there and have an awesome United States title match. I think they can tear the house down, and I really hope that's what happens. Afterwards, Samoa Joe attacks Ricochet from behind. He laying into him, and he goes to charge him in the corner. Ricochet pulls the top rope down, causing Samoa Joe to fall out, and Ricochet hits a wicked dive on the outside onto Samoa Joe. And I actually like that Ricochet stood tall here, just because it makes him like a strong contender for the U.S. title. It didn't really make Joe look good though, because he attacked a guy that just had a match and got his ass kicked. But whatever, you had to build Ricochet as a top contender. Afterwards, he did like an interview on WWE.com exclusive, talking about how he's gonna beat Joe and how he's beaten big guys before, so he's just gonna do the same thing. So yeah, I like this. I'm actually all for Ricochet and Joe for the U.S. title. I think that could be a hell of a matchup. Um, and then Becky Lynch comes out to cut a promo, and she calls out Lacey Evans pretty much, saying, that she's acted like a lady, but she doesn't see any class, and she wants to give Lacey Evans what she thinks she deserves, and that's her right hand. Lacey Evans comes out, and she starts talking about how she needs to bring some class into the women's division. And she talks about how she was a Marine at one point, unlike Becky Lynch, and she says that the women's division really needs some class. And when she says that she's going to do that this Sunday when she beats Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. When she goes to get in the win, Becky Lynch to the Exploder, and then that was it. Really didn't care for this. I didn't really think it was a good utilization of Becky Lynch. I really hope that Becky Lynch just beats Lacey Evans this Sunday, and this is just the end of it. Because there's really no reason for, this feud to be continuing. Because Becky Lynch beat her at Money in the Bank. So I don't know why they're continuing the feud. Then it cuts, backstage to, the Revival showing up at, Shane McMahon's party with Drew McIntyre, and, they do shots and stuff, and, yeah, it was weird. Then Baron Corbin gets interviewed, and he talks about how we find out that Elias is now not going to be medically cleared, I guess, to be the referee for Rollins versus Corbin, or he backed out of it. So, Charlie Caruso asked if Baron Corbin's going to be able to find, a replacement, and Baron Corbin says that he has loads of superstars knocking on his door to be the referee. And then Seth Rollins pops up and hits Baron Corbin right in the arm with a steel chair, and that was that. I actually liked this. It was a nice way to build up to that match, and yeah, it was good. Then the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan come out to do a promo. The new Daniel Bryan says that unfortunately he had to show up to LA and Monday Night Raw, but he says that he's here to make LA a better, planet and a better city by being here, and he says that he's going to show Seth Rollins, how it really takes to be a wrestler. He says that he's the best wrestler on SmackDown, and him and Rowan are the best tag team. So I like this promo a lot. I thought the new Daniel Bryan was very good out here. So there you go. Then they get invited to the Viking Raiders, and I think they're not going to do a match, but they want you to think possibly that the Viking Raiders could show up on SmackDown as part of the wild card rule, and challenge the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan for the titles. But whatever, I don't think that's going to happen. But whatever. We had the Viking Raiders versus Russ and Randy Taylor in an enhancement match. The Viking Raiders destroyed them. They hit the Viking Experience for the win, and it was whatever. I thought it was a nice way to make the Viking Raiders look strong, but it was really just filler and really wasn't necessary. Afterwards, earlier in the night, during a commercial break, we saw that R-Truth was trying to run away from Robert Roode, Drake Maverick, Zack Ryder, and Kurt Hawkins, and Titus O'Neil. So I guess they tried disguises. Because we saw in the crowd that R-Truth and Carmella were disguised as, they were doing disguises. I think they were disguised as a British cop or something and, Sherlock Holmes or something like that. And, we noticed it right away. So all the wrestlers come out. The wrestlers I just said, but also Cedric Alexander included in there as well. And R-Truth runs around the ring, and he runs underneath the ring. And during a WWE.com exclusive, we saw a camera under the ring where Titus O'Neil was under there, and he hits a right hand on R-Truth. He tries to pin him under the ring to win the 24/7 championship, but R-Truth kicks out of it. But we saw that the wrestlers pulled Titus O'Neil out of the ring, and R-Truth ran away. and he was able to get away. And we saw backstage that like they barricaded the door with a chair and stuff, and ran away. I really wasn't a fan of this. It's just really filler. I'm all for having like a title, like a 24/7 title, like this because it gives people something to do. But this title is just a joke, and I think the problems with this title is, they this would be a fun title when they had the hardcore title. That was allowed to be a fun title because they treated all their other titles at least with somewhat prestige. Um, so you could get away with it. But the problem is you really can't get away with it with now because all the titles are treated mainly like a joke. You have the Universal title that's kind of been largely treated as a joke. Um, the the WWE title has been treated prestigely lately. And you have the IC title that's just very rarely just kind of there, and then you have the U.S. title that gets flip flopped around so much. The tag titles are a joke. So you need to have, if all the titles were treated prestigious, I'd be all for this title, but it really isn't. They really should have established this title first before they made it a joke, because that was the thing with the hardcore title, was to at least establish before, um, you know, um, they, did the 24/7 rule for it. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this title. The title design looks like crap. And I really haven't really talked about it all that much because I've been watching the main roster. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this 24/7 title. I think it's stupid. Then we had the Kevin and Sammy show with Baron Corbin. Kevin Owens reads all of Baron Corbin's accolades, and they bring out Baron Corbin. Um, and they reluctantly want to back out of being the referee, for the Universal title match at Super Showdown, because the reason they give is for the Roman well-being, which is true, and they don't want to get their ass kicked by Seth Rollins. So Baron Corbin reluctantly accepts, and he says that he found a referee, someone that they're going to give a new opportunity, EC3. So EC3 comes out, but Seth Rollins comes out and destroys him, hits him on the back, and just destroys him with a steel chair. And Baron Corbin's kind of like, well, I guess I got to go back to the drawing board, and he accuses Seth Rollins of taking away, um, you know, um, a spotlight for a new superstar. Um, so there's that, and then the New Day come out, and I don't even know why they came out. They just did, and they make fun of Baron Corbin because his plans aren't going according to plan, and they talk about how, and even like Kevin Owens point this out, and I'm going to point this out, that they shouldn't technically be there because the wild card rule is only supposed to be 4 superstars, and we had already seen, I think, like 2 people. We saw Elias, we saw Kevin Owens because he's on SmackDown. We saw, well, we were gonna see Roman Reigns, and then the New Day would have made 6. So this made no sense. This just shows, by the way, that the wild card rule is just gonna be slowly ending the brand split because I think that what's gonna happen is they're just gonna keep putting more and more people onto each brand, and it won't really matter. So I think all it is just slowly ending the brand split because I have a feeling by October, when SmackDown goes to Fox, the brand split will be null and void. So that's all it is. Um, and they didn't really you know um, they didn't really give a good reason either, why the brand split. No, I'm sorry, they didn't really give a good enough reason why the New Day's why the New Day can be on SmackDown. All they just said was that Kofi's the champion, he wants to be on both shows, and Big E and Xavier Woods um you know with me. So that was that. So I thought that was pretty stupid. So yeah, I really hated that. But yeah, they challenged them to a 6-man tag team match, and this was pretty funny. They pick up EC3, and since he's like an official, they because he's wearing an official outfit and stuff, they mimic him and make it seem like he um you know is approving the match. I thought that was pretty funny. It doesn't make any sense though either because it doesn't really work that way. The GM would typically approve the match, but I still thought it was funny. And we had the 6-man tag team match. It was 2 out of 3 falls. Don't know why it was 2 out of 3 falls. It just randomly was, but whatever. Um, the heels get the heat for a long time on Xavier Woods. I really like the spot where, actually, no, that didn't happen yet. It was a different competitor. And then eventually Xavier Woods just hits a roll up onto Sami Zayn, and gets the first fall. Um, but then eventually, when it comes back from commercial break, we see that Big E's being dominated, and he went for a tag, but Kevin Owens took his head off with a super kick. I thought that was a nice spot. And then Kofi gets the hot tag. He's still going off on Corbin. And, the match starts to spill into chaos. Corbin tries, you know, to win with the deep six, but it gets broken up. And, Corbin does that clothesline, and he inadvertently takes out Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens is upset about this because he thought he did it on purpose. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walk out on him, which that kind of didn't make any sense because he clearly saw that he hit him by accident, so that didn't really make any sense. And then Kofi Kingston hit the Trouble in Paradise onto Baron Corbin, gets the win, and yeah, I don't really know why it needed to be 2 out of 3 falls, but I still thought the match was good. And yeah, I actually kind of like that, the faces 1-2 zip, because that typically never really happens. And, you really shouldn't have the New Day lose to a makeshift team like, Corbin, Owens, and Zayn. And this is a way that, Zayn and Owens won't be the referee. So I liked it. And they also announced, that Big E and Xavier Woods are going to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a tag team match. I think it was announced, before this match, at Stomping Grounds. But like I said, since I haven't been watching much of the main roster, I don't know if they were already announcing this match as a thing. Seems like a random match. In a way it makes sense because Kevin Owens has been feuding with Kofi Kingston, so this is kind of like a way to kind of continue that feud with Big E and Xavier Woods. But yeah, it kind of still was random, so whatever. Then we had Kofi Kingston and the New Day partying with Jaina Doohan and Steve Kaz. I don't know. There's some celebrities. I have no clue who they are. So they were celebrating with them. They were backstage. So there you go. And then we had the Revival, Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre backstage. And I really didn't like this segment at all. They were backstage, and you couldn't really hear what they were saying because the commentators were talking right over them. But Heath Slater comes in, and he asks for a raise, and Shane McMahon tells him no. So he's all upset. So Drew McIntyre goes out and, says that, since they used to be friends, he wants to help him out. He gives him money, and Heath Slater doesn't want to take the money, and then McIntyre drops it. And when he goes to pick it up, McIntyre attacks him. He was on the phone with his wife at this point, and he beats up Heath Slater, and Shane McMahon and the Revival have to pull him off, and the Revival steal, I guess, Drew McIntyre's money. I mean, they tried to make it seem off like he was stealing money that Heath Slater had, but this was technically Drew McIntyre's money, so I don't get that at all. And then that was it. I didn't like this at all. I didn't really think it served a purpose, and it just was pointless. I didn't like any of these Shane McMahon segments, by the way. And then AJ Styles is backstage, and I guess he's close to getting cleared because apparently he has an injury, which is legit. And Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson came in. They tried to do the doctor thing, and AJ Styles, we find out that it's been 3 years since Gallows and Anderson debuted in the very same arena that they're at, because they were in Los Angeles, and they talk about how they put on clinic tag team matches with, all these tag teams. However, though, you guys have become complacent because he says that the Usos are the best tag team, and he wants Gallows and Anderson to bring back that ruthlessness that they had in Japan. So Gallows and Anderson agree to do so, and that leads to later on in the show. I like this, and this could be a good storyline that they're going to set up. But the problem is they can set up all these storylines all they want. They pretty much, are so inconsistent. You don't even know if this is going to continue into next week. So I can't. I'm not going to get my hopes up. And I guess this is something for AJ Styles to do for a while until he gets healthy enough to get back into the ring. because I don't know how long he's going to be out for. I'd imagine if he was on this show, he's going to be back fairly soon because they wouldn't have put him on the show. But I wouldn't complain if they did for a while where AJ Styles was like the manager until he's healthy enough to get back in the ring again of Gallows and Anderson. I think that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, I kind of like too how it's AJ that's the one that's kind of telling Gallows and Anderson this because they're like the best friends and stuff from the club and stuff. So I actually like that. And then Nikki Cross is backstage. Alexa Bliss gives her a cup, and we find out that we're gonna have a women's tag team title match between the Iconics and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which makes no sense because they're trying to promote Alexa Bliss versus Bayley, but yet they're doing this at the same time. Like I said, consistency. Then we had a promo from Paul Heyman. I liked it a lot. He just pretty much teases that Brock Lesnar potentially could be there and could cash in the Money in the Bank contract. And he also says that he's not the referee. I liked it. I thought it was good. Very simple. And you could say it's not needed, but, I mean, are you really going to not want to hear Paul Heyman talk? Like, come on. Then Baron Corbin and Eric Young are backstage, and Baron Corbin's offering Eric Young an opportunity to be the guest referee. Saying that it could be a great opportunity for him. So Eric Young says he'll think about it, but then Seth Rollins, walks by him, and Eric Young says that, he really wasn't going to do it because he knows what his fate could be. And Seth Rollins says, me and you go back a long way. I know you'd never do something like that. So Eric Young walks away, and Seth Rollins clubbers Eric Young in the back with a chair, beats the crap out of him with this chair, and then that was that. Like I said, I thought it made Seth Rollins look really good. Sucks for Eric Young, though. I really think he could be doing some things. I really hope they put him in the cruiserweight division because I think that would be, he fits the weight limit, and I think that would be a better utilization for him. Because if he doesn't go to the cruiserweight division, I think he's just going to end up leaving the company when his contract comes up and probably go to AEW or maybe like ROH or something. I could see him going back to Impact, but I don't think he will. But we'll have to wait and see. Then the Usos are backstage, and they do a promo on Gallows and Anderson. It was a good promo, but I'm not really like a fan of like the Usos style of promos with the sweet talk and stuff. It's just not really my thing. So there you go. Then we have the Usos versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Gallows and Anderson pretty much just destroy the Usos throughout this match. Gallows hits a cheap shot big boot on one of them, and they just dominate the other Uso for a while. They hit the boot of doom on him, and they beat the crap out of him. And then eventually, they're doing so well, but then Anderson stupidly decides to do the too sweet and taunt, and they go for the magic killer, and this ends up costing them because the other Uso comes in and hits a super kick, and then the Usos hit a double super kick on Gallows, cover him and get the win, which is stupid that like they won with the double super kick. They can't even win with the finisher. I do say sometimes I like it when wrestlers win with other moves because it builds up those moves. But still, it just kind of shows what WWE thinks of Gallows and Anderson. They did a thing backstage, like where AJ Styles was like yelling at them and stuff, saying that they had the match won until they did that. They need to get back on control. But like I said, I don't know what's going to happen here, if they're going to continue this or not. So really tough for me to say anything. But overall, this has potential if they capitalize on it, but I don't think they will. So I just don't really like this at all. So there you go. Then the Revival, Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre were backstage again, and I thought something was going to happen here, but nothing really happened, so there you go. Maybe something happened, I don't really remember it. Then Hulk Hogan did like a promo, I guess, on Twitter, talking about like the American woman, thing they got going on. I don't really know. I don't really follow sports, so there you go. Then Roman Reigns comes out to do a promo, and he says that Super Showdown was the worst, week of his life. But I don't think he said that. He said it was a bad week. Because if he said worst week of his life, then I guess October when he had the battle of leukemia meant nothing to him. So there you go. I know that's going to be, that's going to rattle you guys' ears, but, I thought that's what he said. I mean, telling the truth here. And he calls out Shane McMahon to fight him one-on-one. And Shane McMahon pops up on the screen, and he has Mike Rome do the best in the world announcement, which is just getting annoying at this point. And Shane McMahon refuses because he already beat him, and Roman Reigns shouldn't be ashamed um, of losing to the best in the world, and the Revival said that he can't handle the hotness of Shane McMahon. Um, and then Drew McIntyre said that he's going to beat Roman Reigns at Stomping Grounds to the point where he's unrecognizable and his family won't recognize him, and that strikes a chord with Roman Reigns. So he just, leaves the ring and goes to backstage to where the Revival, Shane McMahon, and Drew McIntyre were. This made no sense though, because McIntyre continued talking like he didn't know Roman Reigns was, you know, on his way to backstage, and this doesn't make any sense because we know that when wrestlers talk in the screen, that they can see what's in the ring because there's been instances where wrestlers will ask certain other wrestlers to do something that are in the ring, and when they don't do it, they get mad. So it really doesn't make any sense here. And the Revival, though, try to, prevent Roman Reigns from getting in there, and the Roman Reigns just destroys them, kind of showing. I mean, the Revival, I guess, are being used better now since they're in, like, the Shane McMahon thing, but they're just really lackeys to, Shane McMahon. They could be doing so much better. They can be tearing it up as Raw Tag Team Champions, but they're not going to do that. Then Roman Reigns, who McIntyre, too, could be doing so much better things than just being Shane McMahon's lackey. Attacks Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. He throws McIntyre into a wall and spine busters him through a table. And Shane McMahon tries to escape. And Roman Reigns, they fight. They run away back into the, into the ringside and such. And Roman Reigns had to dive from the barricade. He beats up Shane McMahon, hits a Superman punch and a spear on him. And Roman Reigns says that that's going to be Drew McIntyre's fate at Stomping Ground. After on WWE.com exclusive, Shane McMahon says that McIntyre's going to kick his ass, and they leave. And then that was that. I mean, I guess technically this wasn't bad, but in context, I don't care about this at all. I don't really want to see Shane McMahon anymore. I don't know why. They're just forcing Shane McMahon down our throat. And if I do a year-end awards, if I am gonna, grade someone as overrated, I'm gonna do Shane McMahon because he has gotten way too much TV time and just way too much screen time and way too much time, and he's taken away a spot that somebody else can have on the main roster. So I really hate this a lot. Um, then Naomi, Natalia, and Bayley are backstage, and Bayley, they're just having some type of conversation, and Charlie Caruso comes up, and we see that, like, on Twitter, Bayley apparently had, like, denied signing a fan's autograph because she was wearing a Nikki Cross t-shirt, and Bayley, knows that it's just Alexa Bliss, stirring up drama, so she goes to take care of it, but Naomi and Natalia, like, believe it, which doesn't make any sense at all, because, you know, um, that, they've dealt with Alexa Bliss before. They should know what she's doing, but whatever. I didn't like this at all. And then we had a women's tag team championship match. Women's tag team champions, the Iconics versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. The Iconics do their typical promo. Got the sports heat in there. And Bayley came out, and during the commercial, she said that she wanted Alexa Bliss to prove her that she really is all about winning titles. So she's going to watch ringside, which is like, how does that prove Bayley won? Because, she knows she's going to be there as a distraction. So why not watch the match from backstage? And they had, like, a pretty lame match. I really didn't care about it. I don't know what they're doing here. Like, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross just screams babyface tag team. Um, and, um, you know, they're still doing that feud with, Bayley. This is, how inconsistent the main roster is. But, Alexa Bliss shoves Bayley, and one of the Iconics, I forget who it was because I really didn't care enough to go back and watch it. I don't know, rolls up Nikki Cross, and, Bayley pulls Alexa Bliss out of the ring, preventing her from breaking the pinfall up, and Nikki Cross gets pinned, and they retain the tag team titles. This did nothing to, like, promote prestige to the women's tag team titles, though. They would just use as filler to build up this Alexa Bliss Bayley feud. That's all it was. They did nothing to raise the prestige of this, and it's just a joke. Like, everyone had wanted these tag team titles for so long. That now that people finally got it, they just pretty much, like, threw it under the rug. So yeah, this is just stupid, and I don't like this at all. And then Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are backstage, and Nikki Cross finally realizes that Bayley took away her title shot, so she's gonna be in Alexa Bliss's corner when she faces Bayley and make sure she loses her title. So there you go. Then we had probably what was the best thing on Raw. I don't know. There was a lot of things I liked on Raw, but this was probably my favorite thing on Raw. Firefly Funhouse. It's been a while since I talked about these. I really enjoy these. You really just have to go watch them for yourself to really, because I'm not going to explain each and every single one in this one video. But yeah, this was awesome. I really enjoy it. They were like the only things I've really been watching on the main roster. You know, when I was boycotting because I knew that they were just gonna get better and better. So I did watch them. Didn't use their YouTube channel though, but I did watch them. And this one has to be the best one yet. I think they just get better and better as they go along. Um, you see Bray Wyatt at the Firefly Funhouse, and he's watering the plants, which is a set. And I like it too, like the noise sound effect, um, you know, of the water being poured out, um, you know, and that the water really isn't being poured out. I thought that was just great. And Bray Wyatt says, you know, um, that he's just watering the garden, and he says that you guys could have your own garden too and let it grow, um, and you could have great ideas, but they could just be filled with worms, which was a reference to John Moxley because that's obviously one reason like he left the company and stuff. And Bray Wyatt says that your teachers, that your parents, that people have lied to you throughout your whole life. Your parents told you that the Earth is round, but they never gone around the whole world. And you see like the Earth like image pop up, and you hear like that like sound effect if you get like a question wrong on um, like some type of game show, like Jeopardy. That's what I was thinking of. And he says that your teachers tell you that that the dinosaurs went extinct, but what do they know? And dinosaur pops up, same thing happens. Um, and Bray Wyatt says that we're all here at the Firefly Funhouse be yourselves, to be freaks. Um, and he says that I'm gonna show you the way. Um, and you guys should follow the leader. And we see Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Doll, Ramblin' Rabbit, the Pig, and the Devil Vince McMahon, which I really like that one, by the way, all there. And then, Bray Wyatt says that all you have to do is let me in, and that wasn't all. Then we see, like, like a radio, like, in a call, and they're playing the Muscle Man song that like Bray Wyatt played, and I think not the last one, but the one before that. When he was doing that gimmick, um, and the Muscle Man dance pretty much, and you hear like different versions of it. You have a rap version of it, a metal version of it, a jazz version of it, the original version. Probably my favorite one was probably the metal one, but I like the rap one a lot too. And you see Bray Wyatt say follow the leader, and then you see like the other like the demon version of Bray Wyatt, the secret, the clown version of him, and you hear him say "Let me in," and follow the leader and such. And you see like all different versions of the vignettes that have been airing these past couple of months or so. And I really enjoyed this. I thought this was awesome. Um, and I love these Bray Wyatt vignettes. I think this is going to be the last one because I don't really know what else they can really do with these vignettes, and I can't wait to see like how this is going to translate to uh, wrestling once he actually shows up. I actually heard that he actually was at Raw this week, so that it looks like that they're trying him out now in the ring and stuff. And I don't know what's going to become of this gimmick, but I'm really enjoying it. I really love it, and um, obviously I was very critical of it. You heard me talking about it, I think originally, but the more after the third episode when we found out what it actually was, And yeah, I really enjoy it. I really hope that the WWE goes with this gimmick. Like, obviously, because I said again, there's no consistency, and we know the WWE's track record of booking Bray Wyatt. Um, Hopefully they get this right. And I actually think like if they really stay the course, they can make Bray Wyatt the world champion on either Raw or SmackDown. I think that'd be awesome. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but yeah, I love it. Then the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan get interviewed. Um, and the new Daniel Bryan even points out that like why is no one like taking the steel chair away from Seth Rollins? Is it because they just want to see him run like a madman, and he just kind of reiterates everything that he said before? I liked it though. I thought it was good. Then we had the main event. It was the new Daniel Bryan with Rowan versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins starts off the match out really quick and hot. Throws the new Daniel Bryan on the outside, hits a suicide dive onto the new Daniel Bryan. He goes for a second one, but Rowan catches him and hits the claw slam onto the apron. But then the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan beat down Seth Rollins. The new Daniel Bryan hits the running knee onto him. But then the New Day run out. Kofi Kingston hits the Trouble in Paradise on the new Daniel Bryan. And then Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Revival run out and beat down the New Day. And then the Usos run out, and everyone just gets into a brawl. The Usos hit a super kick on Rowan, and then they hit a dive on everybody, and everyone just gets into a brawl. And the referee announces that the match is going to be restarted. And at first, I thought they were going to do a tag match, and then we're just going to do this big multi-person match. And I'm like, oh, okay. But no, they just said that this is going to be restarted as a one-on-one match. With everybody banned from ringside, and yeah, they just continued the match, which I liked, because I thought it was a nice way. It was something different because typically you expect the 10-person tag match to come, and I liked that they went and just did the match because I would have been kind of pissed if they didn't do this match, unless they were gonna save it for like a pay-per-view. But it is what it is. I think they should have just saved this match for a pay-per-view because the whole thing was that Seth Rollins has never beat the new Daniel Bryan one-on-one, so they really could have ran with that, but they didn't. And yeah, they continued the match, and the new Daniel Bryan gets the offense in early. He throws the Seth Rollins into the steps, and he really dominates Seth Rollins, but then Seth Rollins starts to mount a comeback, and they really went back and forth. The new Daniel Bryan hit a really cool ankle lock right onto Seth Rollins. He actually went on his knees for it, too, which was pretty cool. I really like that. And then Seth Rollins, hits the superplex, goes for the Falcon Arrow. The new Daniel Bryan turns it into the LeBell Lock, and then he changes it into the Winds of Saturn, but Seth Rollins gets to the ropes just in time. The new Daniel Bryan hits a wicked drop kick, and then eventually Seth Rollins hits the Buckle Bomb into the Stomp for the win. Buckle Bomb into the Stomp. Or am I getting it wrong? Yeah, it was the Buckle Bomb into the Stomp, and Seth Rollins wins the match. And yeah, I thought it made sense because obviously Seth Rollins has got a big title defense, and with the way they booked Seth Rollins throughout the show, he really couldn't lose this match. And like I said, they just had such a competitive match. I don't think it made the new Daniel Bryan look weak. And yeah, I didn't know though that Seth Rollins had never beaten the new Daniel Bryan in a singles action. I mean, obviously, I think it just means WWE. There potentially could have been, something, where he did probably like, an ROH or something like that, but they don't talk about that. So there you go. Afterwards, Baron Corbin comes out and clobbers Seth Rollins with a chair, hits him twice in the back, then in the back of the neck, which was kind of concerning. And then he puts him in the ring, hits the end of days on him, and holds up the Universal title. As much as I hate Baron Corbin, it made sense for Baron Corbin to stand tall at the end of the night because he had, kind of been booked like crap throughout this show. He got laid out by Seth Rollins, and then he took the fall, the last fall in the 2 out of 3 falls 6-man tag team match. So he had to make him look strong, and I think he got laid out last week too. So he had to do something, and that was it. Not really sure, what's going to happen Sunday, who the special guest referee is going to be, but I actually enjoyed Raw this week. I thought it was good. Looking at this show, I'm going to give it a, let's see. What I really liked about this show was they did like a show-long storyline where Seth Rollins took out each guy that Baron Corbin was going to hire as the referee, and it went on the whole show. So I liked that part of the show. Um, I liked obviously the main event. I think it could have been better. I think they should have just let Seth Rollins and the new Daniel Bryan really just like go all out and have this awesome match instead of doing the stuff with the Usos and the New Day and all that. I think they should have just let them really put on a clinic with each other, and just ban Rowan from ringside instead of doing what they did. Um, but yeah, what else did I like on this show? Because it was something else. I like the Fatal Five Way. So I thought that was good. And I do like the Gallows and Anderson thing if they do something with it. So we'll see. And I obviously like Firefly Funhouse because you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, there were some things I didn't care for. I didn't care for the woman storylines in this show. It may sound sexist, but I didn't really care about them. Um, you know, I didn't care for the Roman Reigns bit. I didn't care for um, the Shane McMahon stuff, and yeah, just didn't care about any of that. So I thought Raw was good though. And I also didn't care about the 24/7 title. Now that I see it here, but I also like the 203 Falls 6-man tag team match. I thought that was good too. So I'm gonna give Raw a B minus. I thought it was a good show. Like I said, too many WWE.com exclusives, and they put some of the stuff on the exclusives that they could have put on the show. So I thought it was a good show. I'll give it a B minus. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of the video. Um, and yeah, I didn't expect to go as long as I did. I think it's because I haven't done a Raw review in a while and stuff, and haven't really talked about the main roster. So that's why I've gone for so long. Uh, and also it's a 3-hour show. It takes longer to talk about a 3-hour show versus like a 1-hour show with NXT and such. So, there you go. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers on the top of your YouTube channels. And just so that way you know, because I don't remember if I said it, Raw is a B minus. Good show.